Welcome to Cuskawilla, located on the shores of beautiful Lake Oconee in Eatonton, Georgia. And I'm Lynn Blake, and this is my home on the range. Welcome aboard. But how many times have we all said as we watched the ball streak down the fairway and toward the flag, wow, if I only knew what I did on that shot, I could really play this game. And you know what? You could, if you knew what you did. And that's what alignment golf is all about, this system that I teach. There are key alignments, alignments of the body, zone 1, alignments of the arms, zone 2, alignments of the hands, zone 3. It's not just about the body, it's not just about the arms, it's not just about the hands. These three elements must be coordinated and into a stroke pattern that will deliver the alignments you seek and the results that you will enjoy. Golf is best learned in 3 stages. 2 feet back, 2 feet through, right forearm level of the ground, right forearm level of the ground, and then beyond that. The first stage we call basic motion. Here, we're interested in the basic body positions, we're interested in the alignments of the arms, and we're interested in the arm sources of power. In stage 2, the acquired motion, and we call it acquired motion because now we're, in addition to the body positions, we're acquiring movement. And in addition to the arm sources of power, we're introducing the hand action sources of power. Now, by themselves, the hands drive the ball a very short distance. They function mainly as clamps, but the wrist turn and the wrist cock are terrific sources of power, and we'll learn more about those as we discuss power here in a few minutes. So then in acquired motion, right forearm level to the ground here, and then there, we have introduced these additional sources of power plus the body movements. Now in total motion, we're working for so, which would be less than full power still, but unrestricted motion. That's what we're trying to do here. The good news is that through the ball, basic motion is exactly like acquired motion. And through the ball, acquired motion is exactly like total motion. So we only have to learn one set of alignments, certainly through impact, and that is, as we know, the moment of truth. Well, now we're going to look in a little more detail about these specific alignments in the 3 zones, the body zone, the arm zone, and the hand zone. The body zone consists of the feet, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the motion of the pivot itself, and the works that the hips do in terms of, do they pull the shoulders back or are they led back by the shoulders? Do they pull the shoulders down? Almost certainly they should be. So this pivot motion is very confused for a lot of people because they set up in a very confusing way. Namely, this head, which God put very much in the center of the shoulders, they set it like this. And that kind of messes up everything. Underneath your left arm is the center of your arm swing. And of course that center is in motion, hopefully around a stationary head that we're going to discuss. It's in motion, but this is the center of the arm swing and the bottom of the arc occurs opposite that. When you move your head way back, you have just moved the bottom of your arc back into the middle of your stance. Any wonder that we hit so many scuffed shots? Any wonder we don't wind up in a wonderful impact alignment? So this is a function, I guess a lot of the instruction we've had in the years past is get behind the ball. Well, the head in the center of the stance, if you position yourself here, guess what? You are behind the ball. On the other hand, if you position yourself here, you are in front of the ball. So the head is where the head is and the ball is where the ball is. My suggestion is to actually realize the true relationship is not so much keeping the head behind the ball, it's keeping the ball and the head behind the hands. That's what it's all about. So let's put the head in the center of the body. If you set up in a triangular way, now that's an isosceles triangle, not a right triangle, then a plumb line drop from your chin ought to fall right between your feet. And the head ought to stay there. Now that doesn't mean that the head stays like this. Your head can swivel around the spine as the axis, and in fact that's exactly what it does. But it doesn't sway and it doesn't bob. You take that one essential, the stationary head, again it can swivel, but it doesn't keep you ball bound. That one essential will give you a centered arc. And if there's one thing we need in a golf stroke, it's a centered arc. When David slew Goliath, he did it like this, not like this, and not like this. So the swaying and the bobbing, if you want to play your best golf, that's got to go. Now, second alignments. the alignment of the arms. If you were to take a club, and I would ask you to do this, if you were just to drag it around as I'm doing here and stop at any point, say here, you would see that your right forearm and that club shaft are in line. It's a very natural place to be. Your forearm is supporting that entire operation, the entire shaft. If that's the case, then why do we set up like this? Interesting question, isn't it? Trust me, you're not coming through like that. When you come through, that left wrist has been cocked and it's flying out. It's going from cocked through a condition we call level to fully uncocked. You can start off cocked, which is what this is all about, starting off with that wrist cocked. You are not coming through cocked. Just like if you were hammering a nail, you wouldn't come through fully uncocked, you wouldn't come through cocked, you're going to come through what we call level. Line up that left forearm to that first knuckle is level, wham, like that. So you're going to come through more like so. Well, you know what? Golf takes a long time to play because there's 18 holes, and in the 4-day tournament there's 72 holes. And starting like this and coming through like that on every swing, yeah, you can do that, and a lot of guys do that on the PGA Tour, but it's not the best way. So aligning the right forearm with the shaft. Now some of you guys are not going to be able to do that very comfortably. You're going to say, this is very awkward. Well, yeah, because your wrist is cocked. Get it up here. Now, oh, that's different. You might have to stand up and get some good posture too. So the arm position, the normal position of the arms, the left arm is always extended and the right arm is always bent until the end of the follow through, which is the both arms straight position, this way. But follow through is the first time the right arm has been straight. Now the hands are very important. They have assignments. They turn on the plane, they cock, they uncock, they swivel back to vertical. Vertical is vertical to the ground. We say a horizontal plane, vertical, that's perpendicular to it. And they simply stay vertical. Now watch this here. Watch my hand. Is it rolling? If I'm doing any of this, no. Watch the hand. Have I rolled it? No, but look at the face of the club. It's going down the target line. That's square. But you guys, if I drop it down here, it looks like this. So I've been a closing door, simply a closing door around in a circle, and it looks like this. But you guys aren't like that. You're trying to keep that club face square. You're actually doing this. So what's harder? What I've done, a closing door, drop it down, it looks like a roll, but it really wasn't a roll. It was just staying vertical of the closing door. Or bend the wrist and buckle the arm. That's what you're doing, turning the hand. If I have a hinge machine here, if I position the pin a certain way, the club face closes only. If I position it another way, it lays back only. If I position it a third way, it closes and lays back. What I've said there is that this flat left wrist can make one of 3 motions, and it can correspondingly produce one of 3 motions in the club face itself. If you get control of the club face, you get control of the ball. And if you get control of the ball, you get control of the game. Guys and gals, I know that you know that in this brief time, we can only touch this. There's just so much more. This magic of the right forearm, for example, how it's set on a plane at address, how it's delivered back through impact, how it starts on a plane, leaves that plane, see the arm's no longer on the plane of that forearm, but it stays in its own plane. There's magic here, guys. This is what it's all about. This is impact and having your hands in these positions. The body, how it works, how it interacts with the plane, the right shoulder particularly, going away and then coming down. The power package, the 2 arms, the club, the way they're loaded and the lag, how that package is delivered down plane by the pivot as cargo being transported. There's just so much. If things go right, maybe I'll be able to deliver that message to you on the Golf Channel, who, by the way, at this point in time, I'd like to thank for this privilege. In this short segment, we're going to take a look at how the arms work in the golf stroke. I'm going to let this belt be a proxy for my left arm. You're going to say, well, there's not a whole lot of structure there, and guess what? There's not. But then your left arm doesn't provide much muscular contribution to the stroke at all. It's very important because it and the club form the radius of the stroke, and its contribution is very powerful in that regard, but it doesn't power itself. It's either moved by the pivot or by the right arm, depending on whether you're swinging or hitting, but that's a whole other story. Right now, let's look at the function of the right arm. It's to stretch out the left. And it does so as you go back to the top, it takes it right there. Notice the left arm itself will not get the club to the top, the left arm to the top. Notice that the shoulder turn will not get it up. One thing gets it up, and that's the right arm taking it there. From here, the right arm has been bent, as it should be. It's delivered into release, and then the extension of the arms go through impact. Once you get this, you get structure. When you get structure, you're well on your way to the next level of your best golf.